Hello, I'm Maggie McInerney, and today I'll be showing you how to apply for post-secondary enrollment at Iowa State University. Before we get started, here are a few things to remember about PSEO. First, PSEO is for juniors and seniors at Iowa high schools. Freshmen and sophomores who are identified as gifted and talented may also apply. Secondly, make sure you're applying to take a course that is not offered in your school district. If a comparable course is offered in your school district, you are not eligible to take this course at ISU through PSEO. Now that you've checked the requirements and made sure you're eligible for PSEO, let's get started. First, go to the Office of the Registrar homepage at www.registrar.iastate.edu. Find the Students tab on the left and click on it. Next, scroll down the menu on the upper left side of the page and click on Post-Secondary Enrollment. This will bring you to the Post-Secondary Enrollment website. Alternately, you can get to this website by typing www.registrar.iastate.edu/students/post-sec into your address bar. This box details the required information you'll need to apply to take a course at ISU through the PSEO program. If this is your first time applying to take a course through PSEO at Iowa State, you'll need to send in 3 things. 1. Your non-degree student application. 2. Your completed PSEO form. And 3. Your high school transcript. Remember, to be eligible for PSEO, you must be attending an Iowa high school and you must be in the upper half of your graduating class. If you've already taken 1 or more courses through PSEO at Iowa State, you only need to send in 1 form, your completed PSEO form. Now I'll take you through each part of your required information for PSEO. We'll start with the non-degree student application. If you've already taken a PSEO course at Iowa State, you can skip ahead to the PSEO form part of this video. If you're using a 2-button mouse, right-click on the link which reads Non-Degree Student Application. If you're using either a 1-button mouse or a laptop with a mouse pad, you can get the same menu by holding down your Control key, then clicking on the link. On the menu that appears, click Save Link As. Now you can download and save the non-degree student application to your computer. I recommend saving your application somewhere where you can find it again easily, like your desktop, which you can find on the left-hand menu of this save window. To rename your file, click on File Name at the bottom of the window. Saving this file with your name and with what it is will ensure you can find it again quickly and will make it easier if you ever have to send the file to someone else. Click Save, and your file should be on your desktop. There is another way to save your file, which is good if you want to take a look at the application before you start filling it out. You may have already discovered it and clicked on the application link before we got started. Clicking on the link opens it up in a PDF viewer, in a different tab or window of your browser. On this viewer, you can see the application, but you cannot make any changes to it. You can only fill out this application file once you've saved it to your computer. To download this application, go to the Download button, which looks like a page of paper with a downwards pointing arrow, in the upper right-hand corner of the viewer. Click on the button, and this window will appear. You can choose to save the file or to open it with Adobe Reader. Since I've already saved a version to my computer, I'm going to do neither. If you don't have Adobe Reader on your computer, you can print the application from here to fill it out with pen, but there is one issue with that. On question 12, there is a drop-down menu to select which college of Iowa State you would like to take the majority of your classes from. In the View Only mode, this menu does not appear, and it will print reading, Select one from the following. If you have to print your application this way, write the college you want to take classes from to the right of this menu. If you've saved the file to your computer, minimize the window by clicking this bar in the upper right-hand corner. If you've saved the file to your desktop, you'll find it there. Double-click on your application. The application should open in Adobe Reader. From here, you can fill it out in 2 ways. The first way is to print out this application, then fill out the required information with a pen, remembering to sign and date it when you're done. The second way is to fill it out using your computer, then print it out and sign and date it. Wait! Before you print this, if you chose option 1, you need to do one thing to this application first. Take a look at question 12. If you want to, you can zoom in on any part of the page by clicking on the plus button at the top of the page. To zoom out, click on the minus button next to it. We'll zoom back in on question 12 and scroll over to the Select College menu. This is where you'll select the college you wish to take most or all of your classes from. You'll want to make sure you select the college most or all of your classes are offered by. The undergraduate colleges are Agriculture and Life Sciences, Business, Design, Engineering, Human Sciences, and Liberal Arts and Sciences. If you don't know which college you want to take classes from, select Liberal Arts and Sciences. Once you know which college you're selecting, click on the menu. A set of arrows will appear on the right-hand side of the menu. Use them to navigate through options until you get to the one you want. For this example, I'll select the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. If you click outside of the menu, your option disappears. To fix this, reselect your college in the menu. Then hold down Control and click on the college you've selected to save your choice. If you plan to fill out this form by pen, then you're ready to print. Find the printer icon in the upper left-hand corner and click on it to print your application. Once your application is printed, you can follow along with the application process for students filling out their applications by computer. The process is the same, except that you'll be writing in the necessary information by pen on your application. If you're going to fill this application out on the computer, just click into the box you want to fill out and type the necessary information. If you wish, you can include your Social Security number on this application. You don't have an ISU ID number, so leave this section blank. It's good to save your application while you're working on it, just in case your computer crashes or freezes while you're filling it out. You can either save using the File menu or by pressing Ctrl, then S at the same time. I'm not going to make you watch me type in all of Jane's info, so we'll skip ahead to question 8. This question is optional. However, once you click one of the circles, you cannot unmark this. You can switch your answer to the other circle in the pair, but you cannot unanswer this question. However, you can check and uncheck any of the optional racial groups listed. The circle options on question 9 can also not be unmarked once they're marked. So, if your country of citizenship is the United States, make sure not to click either of those options below. Be sure to indicate whether or not English is your primary language, but don't worry about the English proficiency requirement. This doesn't apply to the PSEO program. Select Undergraduate for your level of non-degree study. Here, you'll list the general subjects you want to take courses in. For example, we'll type Geology and Psychology as the subjects Jane wants to take courses in. Ignore question 14. As a PSEO student, you only have to meet PSEO requirements, not the admission requirements listed on this question. Here you will list your high school and your anticipated high school graduation date. If you don't know the exact date, just put the month and year you will be graduating in. Fill out question 16 if you've taken courses from another college. For example, Jane took a course from DMAC, so she'll put that info here. If you've never taken a college course before, either leave this question blank or put NA in the sections listed. For your activities for the last year, put attending your high school, the dates of the school year that happens right before the semester you're applying to take classes during, and your high school's city and state. If you've been charged with any misconduct or crime described in this question, mark Yes and attach an explanation of this incident to your application. If you haven't been charged with any misconduct or crime, mark No. Please take the time to read this whole section carefully and answer the questions honestly. Now that you've completed the application, it's time to sign and date it. If you filled this application out by pen, you're all ready to sign and date it at the bottom of the page, then move on to the PSEO form. However, if you filled this application out on your computer, you need to print it first before you can sign and date it. Once you've filled out the non-degree student application, it's time to fill out the PSEO form. If you've taken a PSEO course from Iowa State before, you also need to fill out a PSEO form. We'll go through that process now. To look at the PSEO form, simply click on the PSEO form link. Clicking on the link opens it up in a PDF viewer in a different tab or window of your browser. On this viewer, you can see the form, but you cannot make any changes to it. From here, you can either download the form to fill it out on your computer or print it out to fill out by pen. To download this form, go to the Download button, which looks like a page of paper with a downwards pointing arrow, in the upper right-hand corner of the viewer. Click on the button, and this window will appear. You can choose to save the file or to open it with Adobe Reader. Since I'm going to show you another way to save this form later, I'll do neither for now. If you don't have Adobe Reader on your computer, you can print the PSEO form from here to fill it out with pen. There is another way to save your PSEO form to your computer so that you can fill it out on your computer. If you're using a 2-button mouse, right-click on the link which reads PSEO form. If you're using either a 1-button mouse or a laptop with a mouse pad, you can get the same menu by holding down your Control key, then clicking on the link. On the menu that appears, click Save Link As. Now you can download and save the PSEO form to your computer. I recommend saving your form somewhere you can find it again easily, like your desktop, which you can find on the left-hand menu of this Save window. To rename your file, click on File Name at the bottom of the window. Saving this file with your name and with what it is will ensure you can find it again quickly and will make it easier if you ever have to send the file to someone else. Click Save, and your file should be on your desktop. Now you can go to your desktop and open the file. On the PSEO form, we'll be filling out Section 1. This is the only section you'll fill out on this form. This form asks for your Social Security number. You don't have to share it, so if you don't want to, leave this line blank. If you've already taken a course at Iowa State and already have an ISU ID number, you can put that in this slot instead of your Social Security number, since you're already in the ISU computer system. For the rest of the section, fill out your name, address, and other requested info. Be sure to put your current email address here. This is the email address Iowa State will use to contact you about your PSEO registration and any other issues related to your enrollment. Now we'll skip to the parent/guardian line. If your parent or guardian lives at a different address than yours, be sure to write that address here. Now we'll look at the Proposed Schedule of Classes section. If you just filled out a non-degree student application, grab that and take a look at question 11, where you wrote the subjects you want to take classes in. Here you'll list the courses you want to take. If you're not sure which courses you want to take, or if you need to look up some information about the courses you do plan to take, go to Iowa State's Schedule of Classes. You can reach this page by typing classes.iastate.edu/index.jsp into your address bar. Go to the Department menu to select the department you want to take classes from. Click on it when you reach the desired department. If you already know the course number, type it into the course number box. Otherwise, all the courses offered by the department will come up when you click Submit. So here you can see all of the courses offered by the Geology department. We'll focus on Geology 101 and 105 as examples. In this listing, you can see the course number, course title, section letter, the number of seats available right now, and the days and times the class meets. This class meets Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 to 10:50 a.m. At Iowa State, the letter T stands for Tuesday on class schedules, and the letter R stands for Thursday. You can see which semester the class is happening in, how many credits it's worth, and which professor will teach it. You can also look at the textbook which will be used for this class. Click on the textbook information link, and a new tab or window will open, taking you to the ISU bookstore website. Here is the textbook information for Geology 101. Now, I know those prices can look scary, but PSEO students actually get their textbooks for free, as long as they follow the PSEO textbook requirements at ISU. We'll discuss those more later. Once you have your course numbers and names, you can fill them in here. For an example, Jane wants to take Geology 101. In this first column, we'll put the subject, GEOL. Next, the course number, 101. Section A for 3 credits. Geology 101 meets on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so we'll put MWF. In this section, this class meets from 10 a.m. to 10:50 a.m. We'll do this one more time with another example course, Psychology 101. Here, we'll put the subject, Psych. The course number, 101. Section A, 3 credits. Psychology 101 meets on Tuesday and Thursday, so we'll put T and R in this section. Because this class only meets on Tuesday and Thursday, it does run a bit longer than Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes, meeting from 8 a.m. to 9:15 a.m. In this section, write Iowa State University. For the course start section, put the term, month, and year you plan on starting your PSEO course at Iowa State. For our example, Jane is applying for the fall term, which begins in August of 2014. If you want to start in a fall semester, put fall, August, and the year you'll start taking your PSEO course. If you want to start in the spring semester, put spring, January, and the year you'll start taking your PSEO course. If you plan to take classes at another college, in addition to taking classes at Iowa State, mark Yes and fill out that information below. If not, mark No. Now you're done filling out the information sections of Section 1 of this form. You can now print out this form and sign and date it. Make sure to print both pages of this form. Read the information on this form before you sign and date it. Also, if you are under 18, have your parent or guardian sign and date it as well, where marked. Now we'll take a look at Section 2. This section of your form needs to be completed by your school district. Take your PSEO form to your secondary school contact person. This is likely your counselor. Your secondary school contact person will get the verification of the school district. Get this form back from your school as soon as Section 2 is completed. Section 3 will be completed by Iowa State. You don't need to worry about this section. If you've already taken a PSEO course through ISU, this form is the only thing you need to mail in. Send it to Mindy Hagen at the address listed on the website. If this is your first time taking a PSEO course through Iowa State, send this PSEO form and your completed non-degree student application to Mindy Hagen at the address listed on the website. If you've never taken a PSEO course at Iowa State before, you also need to send in your Iowa high school transcript. You have 2 options for getting your high school transcript to Iowa State. The first is to have your high school send the transcript directly to Iowa State to Mindy Hagen at the address listed on the PSEO website. The second option is to order and pick up a copy of your transcript yourself, then to mail it separately or with your other PSEO application materials. Be sure to send it to Mindy Hagen at the address listed on the PSEO website. Now we'll talk about key registration dates. You can find the current registration open date on the PSEO website. You can also find the current deadline for submitting PSEO forms for the upcoming semester. Don't wait until the deadline to submit your PSEO application materials. PSEO courses are filled based on submission date of PSEO forms, so the sooner you can mail in all of your materials, the more likely you are to get the courses you want to take. Now we'll take a look at textbook and fee information for PSEO students. Go to the menu on the left-hand side. You should find a tab labeled Textbook and Fee Information. Click on it. On this page, you'll find the textbook and fee info for students taking PSEO courses from Iowa State. First, we'll look at the textbook policy for Ames area students. Ames area students can pick up their books at the Iowa State University bookstore and charge them to the office of the registrar. Books must be returned by the Friday of finals week to the address listed on this website. Check back for the most updated address. If your textbooks are not returned by the Friday of finals week, you will be billed 75% of the original cost of the textbooks. Now we'll take a look at the textbooks policy for students outside of the Ames area. Students not in the Ames area who are taking off-campus PSEO courses will receive their textbooks from the Memorial Union bookstore. These textbooks will be charged to the office of the registrar. The textbooks will be shipped to the PSEO contact person at your high school. You will get your textbooks from this person and return your textbooks to this person at the end of the semester. Your PSEO contact person will return your textbooks to Mindy Hagan at the address listed on the textbook and fee information page. If you do not return your textbooks, you will be billed for 75% of the original cost of those books. If you have any questions about the textbooks policy, please call Mindy Hagan at 515-294-2444 or email her at mskiles@iastate.edu. Next, we'll go over how to cancel your registration. To cancel your registration, you must notify Mindy Hagan at the phone number and/or address listed on the website. You must do this before the first day of class. If you cancel your registration before the first day of class, Iowa State will cancel your enrollment and remove the charges billed to your high school for your PSEO courses. Canceling your registration before the first day of class also guarantees that your permanent record at Iowa State will show no evidence of activity for the term you canceled. Next, we'll look at tuition adjustments. This schedule is for dropping a course. If you drop a course within the first week or the second week of classes, your school will not be charged for that class. However, if you drop a course after the 10th day of classes in that semester, your high school will receive no refund for the course you are no longer taking. To drop a class that only happens for part of the semester, call Mindy Hagan at 515-294-2444. If you need to withdraw from all of your PSEO courses at Iowa State after classes have already started, your high school will only be refunded a certain percentage of your fees based on when you withdraw. If you withdraw before the semester starts, your high school will be refunded 100% of your fees. On this schedule, you can see that the later you withdraw, the smaller the size of the refund your high school receives. After the 20th day of classes, high schools with withdrawing PSEO students will receive no refund for that student's tuition and fees. Now we'll go to the Frequently Asked Questions page. Navigate to the menu on the left-hand side of the page. Find the tab marked Frequently Asked Questions and click on it. You can find the FAQ page from the PSEO homepage using the same steps. Here is the Frequently Asked Questions page. There are 34 different commonly asked questions on this page, so you will likely find any questions you may have and their answers on this page. If you have any questions that aren't answered on this page, contact Mindy Hagan by calling her at 515 294-2444 or by emailing her at mskiles@iastate.edu. Hopefully you found this tutorial helpful. Thank you for watching.